And welcome everybody to Assiniboine Downs for day 17 on your racing calendar on another hot evening here in Winnipeg. Currently topping 32 degrees Celsius. An absolute beautiful one for racing, but we do have a little bit of wind, so that's a little bonus for us. The hot jock and hot trainer from yesterday, well, Jerry Gorno, he notched 3 more winners yesterday. One of them with Antonio Whitehall, and he had one more, getting 2 wins on the card. Speed won 3 of the 6 races, and usually when it's this hot, it seems speed carries over the racetrack, but we really didn't see that yesterday. 2 of the wire-to-wire winners were going a route of ground, 7.5 furlongs. The other was a standout Persistent, who easily won, but we also had horses closing from the back of the field, more than 10 lengths off of it, a couple getting the wins and a couple more running very close to getting the money. Stretch, what did you see yesterday?
Yeah, you're right. It was a fair track. That filly Whittinger Maiden looked very impressive. Watch out for her in the future. Very form-filled, like I said. We, as a group, basically had all the winners, so no real surprises on that. Also understanding value. Some people don't like to bet favorites. Well, there are some favorites that you get value. So, for example, the first race, I like the horse. It ended up paying over $8. I thought I was going to get 6. So, for me, that is considered value. So, you really got to watch. Don't just look for the long shots for the value. Sometimes you sneak an extra few dollars on a favorite winning easily. Kurt, let's start capping.
Okay, here we go. We're going to kick off ASD Live here with a $5,000 claimer for 3-year-olds and up, going 7.5 furlongs. Kicking off early daily double wagering. Scratch number 5, Witt's Dollar Night. And with that scratch, there will be no show wagering or no superfecta. Stretch, you start us off.
Right. The 4/5 horses always makes it very difficult to cap. So speaking of value, that's what you've got to look for in here. If Witt's Dollar Night had been in here, that would have been my selection. Clearly, I'm going to save some money because something's not quite right with him. So the trickiest on this race is trying to figure out the speed. Basically, each horse has kind of gone a bit to the lead. I find a spot on horse number 2 that does sometimes go to the lead. That horse has the biggest figures for me, simply just on talent on the form. I'm taking the 2 horse. Last race, very impressive race. Antonio, being our top jockey, is going to know kind of a clock in his head where to be if he goes to the lead or sits just off. So I've got him on top. Plum Lucky I'm taking for second. Has a workout, should improve. I don't think he's good enough to beat the 2. And then after that, I've got to take a third horse. I'm going to go to Aztec Sky. I like the 2 works. It's going to need one. You know, if runs a top effort, you never know. Could upset if is ready. So I've got a 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I'm with you, Stretch. I like it frankly fun. You got to look really deep in the lines. 9 and 10 outs ago, where this horse did show speed, one of them going a route of ground and the other sprinting at Sam Houston. Comes off a nice win last time, stalking a duel and pouncing on him. I think this race is going to turn into a chess match. It's going to be really slow early fractions. The jockeys might be looking at each other through the first quarter mile, saying, are you going to go to the lead? Are you going to go to lead? I'm not sure. You might get a 26 first quarter, and that means anybody who's behind those horses is going to have a really tough time catching up. But Antonio Whitehall, one of the top jocks here, and has been a former leading rider, and he's up by about 8 wins right now. And I expect him to say, okay, I'm going to take the lead, slow it down, come chase me. And I think, frankly, Fun's going to get the job done at very low price. I also like Plum Lucky coming out of the 7,500, now going into the 5,000 level. And this horse seems a little bit of a router, as it ran a good race at Turf Paradise on the turf 2 outs ago when it was there, and was only beaten a couple lengths by 3 1/4 in the last start. 4th beaten 4 to Witt's goal, but that was a troubled trip for everybody in there. Plum Lucky got a pretty bad trip on the inside as the horse came over and kind of took out the rest of the field, ended up being disqualified. Rigo Sarmiento was on the inside pushing out Caleb Pizarro, because if not, he would have went through the rail. So Plum Lucky had that early trouble. Maybe with a cleaner trip, this horse can get up and maybe be the upsetter. But I'm looking at Frankly Fun, and I'm throwing Moroccan Warrior as my third choice. Now we're going to carry on to race number 2, kicking off Jackpot Pick 5 wagering. Over $416,000 in the pool. Stretch, who do you like in this 75 claimer?
Yeah, there's a shot we go over $500,000 today. So if you're the lucky ticket, you have a chance to take home $500,000. There are enough tricky races in here that you just never know. Just in case it doesn't go today or tomorrow, there is the mandatory payout on Monday, July 6th. So stay tuned, follow along. I'm going to certainly take a shot today before the mandatory payout. So this is an interesting race. You're going to see later on my Pick 5 ticket just how tricky I find it. It's all about race shape. So last time Wits Gold got a loose lead, and then the Mr. Henry Lee couldn't catch him. Well, today we've got Trippy Riverman in here. I got that name right there, Kurt. Look at that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Way to go, Stretch.
Is also a rabbit. So I've got to decide if Antonio is going to get in a duel or sit back behind Trippy, which is the number 5 horse. So that's why the race can go in either direction. I think that we're probably going to get into a duel, and that's going to set it up for the 1. 1 had a bit of trouble last time, should get the stalking trip. And this is where you can get a price, because when you know the race shape, it can change, because everybody looks on the form and says, oh, the 3 beat the 1 last time, probably happen again today. Very different race shape. Even the 4 is going to could show some speed as well. So I've got it with that one. The other closer I'm considering is the 6. If they decide to rate the 6, then that horse can run in there. Antonio is just, as we've been talking about, being such a smart jockey lately, he might understand that he's got to sit behind on the speed and make the move. If that's the case, watch out. But I'm going to assume duel, so I've got it 3-1-6.
Yeah, with Wits Gold, Trippy Riverman, and even Advantageous could show speed in here. For sure, Wits Gold and Trippy Riverman. Both of them have been gunning to the front. Wits Gold first time out, battled it out every step of the way with Mana Blues last time out. Took out half the field and ended up easily wiring it. But Trippy Riverman had showed speed in its first outing, going wire to wire. Last time out for a half a mile, showed really good speed, but just no staying power. If he could take that sting out of Wits Gold and throw Advantageous in there as they sat back a little off the pace and tried to take a little run, I expect him to show a little more speed today, be closer to those leaders, maybe pouncing on them as they hit the top of the lane. And then Mr. Henry Lee, who's been coming every single time. I like this horse first time out against Mana Blues and Wits Gold, and pretty well had a belated rally, but was coming down the lane. This horse is just going to get better and better with every start. I like Mr. Henry Lee in here to run down the speed. And number 6, Proud and Loud, I also like this horse. But last time out, it didn't look like he was going to win, and kicked it in just inside the 8th pole, about halfway between the 8th and the 16th pole, and then just got up by a length for the win. But if you would have told me at the head of the lane that Proud and Loud was going to win that one, I would have been laughing at you, and he ended up getting the job done. So it wasn't that impressive to me. He might be up a little tough in here compared to his first start, where he's bet down as the favorite against Wits Gold and did disappoint, but the horse is coming off a win. What do I know? Maybe he's the closer that is going to get it done. Now we're going to carry on to race number 3, kicking off to $25,000, guaranteed pick 4 with the maiden allowance race. 4 3-year-olds and up, going 6 furlongs. Stretch, who do you like in this one?
Okay, this is where you've really got to make some notes, because this is a special weight or allowance, as Kurt said, as compared to yesterday's one. I don't really think this is a full maiden special weight race. So that's why there's some 5,000, 10,000 maiden claimers in here that actually do belong. So really make a note who comes out of this race if it is up to the level of similar to like Persistent in that. But I am the horse that hits all my check marks that I am considering as my top pick, and that's number 1. We've got a very nice first start, gets some workouts coming in, adds Lasix, is going to close, every reason to improve, actually gained a few points in the stretch for me. So right there, I've got to start with that one. After that, there's a lot of different changes in here. If you look at horse number 2, again, same kind of thing, adds Lasix, adds blinkers as well, and a workout. Every reason to improve. Take note, it's in for maiden 5,000 was claimed. Normally I'd be, very concerned going from 5 to the maiden special weight. Rarely will I take a horse doing that. I just don't think that this is that top of a maiden special weight race, or normally that would not be a rule I would even consider. So I'm going to use that one. The last one is a horse to potentially watch on the replay. I'm not showing the replay today. Is the 6 horse. Again, in for maiden 5. Didn't get out great. Was closing quite a bit at the end and had an incredible gallop out after the wire. So you can watch it on the replay. You'll see that the horse actually goes flying by the winner of that race, which is Easy Samurai, who we've keyed on a few times with Peyton's Place that won at Century Mile yesterday on Sunday, and another horse yesterday that was in the first race that why I like the horse as well. That horse ended up winning. So it wasn't special weight, in 5. Might be a little outclassed, but if I can get the 6-1, I certainly have to take a shot. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 6.
Yeah, I like the one in here. Colton had ran a huge race first time out, but did have a little bit of a pace battle in front to set up the late run as McKeag, the 7 horse, and the eventual winner, Bear Me a Moment. They went and battled it out every step of the way, and then Colton made the rally. But this horse did show definitely that it does belong in here. It's kind of unusual when you look at the DRF version and the buyer numbers, that the buyer numbers are really low on Colton and McKeag, who I expect to take piles of money on the board. And Colton off that race, getting the Lasix. I think this horse will improve, will be one of the big players. Number 7, McKeag, another horse to look at, another Manitoba bred in the field. He battled throughout in the first outing and then just lost the photo to Colton late down the lane. And then in the comeback race, ran a good third behind Galaxy Invasion and Devil's Command, but had trouble out of the starting gate, never got away clean. I expect the horse to be sitting ahead of Colton, and that could be a big advantage on the racetrack today. But as we said, speed really didn't carry yesterday. I don't expect it to. It's almost the exact same track, exact same weather. But McKeag, I expect to improve off that last outing like Colton, and you're going to get a little more odds. But we're going to go to the horse that I am going to pick on top in here. I went to number 3, Bernie's Bolt. This horse, nice morning line, 10-1. Battled it out with Levante last time out through very quick fractions. Those fractions put him 5 on top in here. Was there for a half a mile and then absolutely spit the bit and went right to the back of the field and got beat by 20 lengths. How can I like this horse? Well, they take the blinkers off today and they add a tongue tie. So what I'm thinking is the horse might have swallowed its tongue in the race, and when that happens, the horse can't breathe like it normally can. It restricts the airway, and that's why the horse would stop so bad. Those races behind at Hastings for $25,000 and optional $50,000 make this one a contender in here. So if you look out at that last race and you throw out the 6x20 and you look at that equipment change, you might get really good odds in here. That's why I'm taking Bernie's Bolt on top. Now we're going to carry on to race number 4, kicking off the late pick 3 with a $3,500 claimer for Manitoba, Saskatchewan, North and South Dakota breds that are non-winners of the year or non-3-lifers, and they're going to go 6 furlongs. Stretch, what about this one?
All right, as you know, I always like to start with race shape, and that's where I'm starting again with this one. I've got it at the 1, 3, and 4, battling it out early. 1 and 3 are probably on paper alone the top 2 contenders. If either one of them was in the race and the other one wasn't, that would be my key in the race. But we've got it in the same race, so therefore I've got to kind of look elsewhere, because I'm convinced that those three, including the top 2 contenders, are going to battle it out. So where do I go from there? Well, I look at the number 2 horse. Cuts back in distance after a very nice effort, ran wasn't gonna beat Honor Class. That horse is just a little bit better, but it's gonna get the Dream Trip. Shannon had a nice riding well already. First couple days here, great ride yesterday for me. She's gonna know that there's gonna be a battle up front. She's gonna just sit back and wait. Is the horse the most talented of the group? Probably not based on the figures, but simply on race shape and how it's going to set up. So that's when you can get your kind of long shots, is when the favorites both need the lead, and then it sets it up. And that's where I see it right away there. The one could get away, or again, Antonio could recognize it. Maybe 3 and 4 might duel, and because of the 7 furlong race, he could sit behind. Or maybe he's just going to gun, and because of extra air in the lungs, might keep it going. And that's the way that he knows that's how he can possibly win, maybe get away. Got to take a shot here with the 7 horse, 10-year-old mare, stakes placed, and I believe has won some stake races here way back a long time ago. Well, she is 10. She has the right race shape. If this race was, 7 furlongs, she would absolutely be my key of the race. It's just because she's been off almost a year now, being 10, may come up short. Those races at Emerald Downs last year are good enough easily to win this race. So I've got her in 3rd only because of the distance. If you're going to offer a price, watch out. So I've got it 217.
Yeah, I like your selections in here, but I went to number 1, Simply Fabulous. This horse gets a cut back from those 7 furlong races against Open Company and ran very well in there. The best start was the first one. Battled every step of the way with Camano Comet and C. Myrtle, and ended up just getting caught late by Camano Comet down the lane. Last time out, Hilda proved to be much the best, with West Princess rallying for 2nd. But last time Simply Fabulous sprinted at the beginning of the year last year was against Dixieland Lake and Eyes Have It. Dixieland Lake, very speedy Manitoba bred, so they locked horns on the front. Eyes Have It sat right in behind and ended up going on by, but that horse did have a couple starts under the belt, so that was the big advantage to Eyes Have It. Simply Fabulous will be the inside of the speed to number 3, Truly and Terrific, and number 4, I Spy My Little Eye, who I expect both to put pressure on Simply Fabulous, but with her having the inside, that is going to be a big advantage. I definitely think she can hang on. But I also like number 7, Key to Glory. As you pointed out, Emerald Downs, Golden Gate, running routes. But Key to Glory used to sprint here also. Not a big form in the sprinting. 9 starts, 1 win, 1 second, and 4 thirds. But 6 for 9 in the money. And she wasn't a bottom level claimer. She was in the allowances most of the time, running against the top Manitoba bred mares in and out. So Key to Glory, this horse can be a definite sleeper in here that sits in behind the 3 speed horses. If it's Ginger Bee Snap and Key to Glory both rallying from the same spot, I think Key to Glory is the one that you want, because this is the horse that's going to show a big late kick. Is a 10-year-old, but she definitely looks like she has run left in the tank. I'm 1-7-4. Now we're going to carry on to race number 5, kicking off late double wagering with this $5,000 claimer for non-2 lifers, and they're going to go 7.5. Stretch, what about this one?
All right, I haven't had a best bet of the year in about a week, Kurt, so here we go. We're going to go best bet of the year to date. It's simply put, the 6 horse. You've got to start at the 6. This is a good horse to cheer for. There'll be a lot of cheering for the Assiniboine Racing Club, where there's a lot of part owners on this one. Great first race. Just look at the company of Strider's Ring and more their stature. Thank you. They both came back and won. Strider's has now become a high-level allowance horse. Probably end up in a stake race in the near future with the figures that he's been running. Anything close to be within 4 lengths of that horse, there is no competition. I think the horse is even better going longer. The last 3 figures tower above this field. I could go on, but it's simply my best bet of the year to date. Are we going to get a price? Probably not that big of a price, but maybe we can use it with some other things, and that's what I'm going to try to help you with. Number 7, improving horse, makes a big drop, but probably needed to drop. Went a little high against that field last time out. So it's a right move on the trainer to understand. Not as good as first thought. It's even a bigger drop than expected, but if the 6 doesn't run back to that last race, then maybe this horse can upset. 2 back was a very nice effort winning, so you've got to certainly include that one. The one that kind of surprised me, but it shouldn't just because of the trainer, is Witt's Hurricane. Really good race going 6 furlongs, nice effort. Obviously the horse is better going a mile. You can see that there's a win on the maiden at Fawner a few months ago. That would be one to be underneath. I don't know if it's fast enough to beat the 6 or even the 7 in fact, but it is a bit of a distance specialist, likes to go around the 2 turns with the heat, so it's used to it. Was a great setup with Jerry. Second start at a track, watch out, and that's what this horse has. And then another horse, just as a finish it off, because I'm going to give you the straight superfecta early, but is the 4 horse, 3rd and 4th, closer. So there's the straight super of the day, Kurt, 6714.
All right, I also like number 6. You'll like it. That was a key race there with More Than Stature. Strider's Ring. Strider's Ring won a first level allowance, then came back and won a second level allowance. And More Than Stature won that race, the 10-on-2 lifer, and came back and run big again in a 10-on-3 event. So this horse towers above everybody else. And what is this horse begging for? Distance. And it gets it today. We've seen 2 winners yesterday, both of them going 7.5 furlongs, both of them on the front end. You'll Like It has speed. Number 5, Days and Deeds, has a little bit. Galaxy has a little bit. But outside of that, it's only little bits of speed. Where You'll Like It has big speed. It'll be able to get out there. Don't expect a 24-second first quarter. More in the 25 and change variety. If you see a 50 and 1/2, you're cashing your ticket. You'll Like It. Definitely, this is the horse to beat. I also like number 1, Witt's Hurricane, who dead heated with number 4, Captain Amante, when they both broke their maidens. But I like the way Witt's Hurricane ran last time out. This horse closed against Strong Arm, who was the 2-5 favorite that day. Finally got the job done after running a little bit of seconditis. But Witt's Hurricane closed all kinds of ground to only lose by a length of 3/4. Antonio Whitehall and Jerry Gorno, they're the new combo, it seems, these last couple weeks, and they've been chalking up the wins each and every time. This horse will hope that there is some sort of pace battle on the front end. If not, it'll be running for second money. But if there is pace battle, just might be able to run down the 6. Another horse to take a look at, number 8, Outrigger. This horse ran a good 3rd last time out, and this one does have some tactical speed. I was waiting for this horse to wake up. I did like it last time out with Witt's Hurricane, who did beat it. But I think Outrigger seems to be improving with every start. Made its 3rd start of the year. And that's supposedly the charm, so should have all the fitness now. Now that they stretch going 7.5 furlongs, I think this horse will have a nice position and could be one to jump in and upset Stretch's top 4. Now we're going to carry on to race number 6, Super High 5 Wagering, with a carryover of just over $59,000 for this $1,500 claimer for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and up that are going 7.5 furlong. Stretch, what do you think of this one?
Well, I always scan and take a look at the other guys' picks a little bit just so I know where I'm going to go and what direction. And when I looked at Kurt's pick, I had to look twice to see if we were looking at the same race. So we'll have to see, but it's kind of a hint. Why isn't it? It's 1,500. A quote of Marshall, this is the uncertainty race of the day. You've got it if you just look at all our picks. I've got my top pick, not nearly clearly close to being as strong as my 5th race pick of the year so far, is the 5. Makes the small drop, has the back class. I don't know if it needs to have the lead. Last time it basically wasn't able to keep up to the speed up front. I think that can happen again. Doesn't necessarily have to be on the lead. If got loose on the lead, then watch out. I think there would be just win for fun. The jockey does like to send the horse at times, so that's why I do like him. Neville, I really like him as a rider when he sends a horse, so that's where he can win. Here's my crazy selection here of the day, and it's for a couple reasons. It's fried pickles, and no, Kurt, I am not fried. I'm simply
too much sun today.
Too much sun, exactly. You could think that, but here's why. And just a bit of a thing to watch for, whether this horse finishes last or wins and pays $50, is the horse did something different last time. Take a look at, suddenly was on the lead, and it was actually in front in the call. When Kurt was calling the race, actually called fried pickles in front at the start. This horse does not usually go to the front. So it's showing speed. It was 3 and 4 wide early on, trying to gun for the lead, didn't get the lead. I don't see that happening today. I think Richard is going to sit back. The horse is better off the pace. And it just makes sense for this horse to now go back to the normal running style, trying something different, and that's what you want to do to try to wake up the horse, especially at this level. My last 2 horses I'm going to just basically mention are 4 and 8. They're the type of horse that get bet. They run evenly. They're low-price horses. They certainly can win. Everybody's angle on the 8. Oh, good. No, neither one took us on the 8. Good. So I don't have to talk too badly about taking the 8 on top. You've got a great jockey change in the sense Antonio jumps on. He's going to know what to do. So I do like that. But if the horse is just not right, you're not going to get your value. So yes, the horse certainly can win. It is bottom levels, but there's no way I'm taking a low price, for example, on the 4 and 8, even though I know they can win, and I'm going to have them in maybe in my pick 4 or something. So I've got it at 5, 3, 8.
Well, I got a little different than you here, Stretch. I see this a little wide open race. I like number 4, Racing the Wind, dropping out of that 5 non-4 lifer. That is tough company. We seen last night with 7. Came back to win 2 in a row, beating up on him. First in the non-3s and last night in the non-4s. Who did he beat? Dolly Dagger, who ended up running second. The previous race, Witz Gatto had won 2 in a row very impressively. Fairy Barb dropped to 5 non-3 out of that race, won that race, went over to Century Downs, and just the other night paid $111 to win, winning 2 in a row. And then the Dolly Dagger ended up running 3rd in that race, and 4th was Racing the Wind. So I'm thinking this is the horse to beat in here, but I just don't have a big level of confidence, even though it does drop to the 15 level. I got a couple other horses that I'm going to take a chance on. Number 6, Chaquette, is one of them. This is a horse that in 2018, a couple of years ago, hit the front end and went wire to wire. I know Solon's Warning does have speed in here, but Chaquette showed good speed last time out in that Trebacious race, at least for a little bit of a quarter mile. So I think they might let this horse go, and if that does happen, now Nicole Hine rides it. She is an apprentice, and she just might sit on this horse and let it do what it wants to do. And it has run some really good races here at the Downs, gets that tightener under the belt. I'm just thinking this one just might get loose on the lead, and if that does happen, it could be a great long shot. And I'm throwing in another long shot in here, number 2, Misenhauer. Absolutely miserable starts in the first 2. Squeezed and hopped at the break first time out. Last time out, reared at the break, was some 15 lengths behind the field, caught up to the field, and ended up passing horses down the lane, only to lose by 5 lengths to Kinahora and I'm a Danger. Wasn't the strongest of fields, but I really like the way this horse ran. 7.5 furlongs. If this horse does get out of the gate, I don't think it'll be a problem. Ran some big races last year in the non-3 lifetime condition that would be good enough to win this race. So I'm looking for a wake-up call on Misenhauer. If this horse gets out of the gate, it might be rewarding at 12-1. So I'm going 4, 6, and 2. Good luck with all your wagers today, and I'll be right back with the changes on this evening's Card of Racing.